Hey, yay, hey, yay. I travel with bad news, subtle news to some, regarding Devin Haney. And in this video, I will expose the agenda, the propaganda regarding Devin Haney, rumors, his next move. Oh, it's pretty. It's so pretty. So bear with me. I will uncover, unearth, and unpack this subject. Let's get unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Yeah, I'm back with that real stuff. You dig? Now, it's about time for me to express my truest thoughts on this very subject regarding Devin the Dream Haney, right? Now the time has come to really break down what's going on in the sport of boxing with certain fighters. Next on the Summer Jam screen is Devin Haney. But first, we got to get through this Eddie Hearn clip, who said some very pertinent things as it regards to Devin Haney. Right? Roll the clip.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes,
Have you spoke to him?
no, because I can't do anything with Dev. Like,
Why?
because the money's not there, Con. Like, where?
I know you heard it. I know you heard what he just said. The interviewer on IFL says, yo, have you spoken on the phone or talked to Devin? And he says, no, I haven't. The interviewer replies, how come or why not? He says, because I can't do nothing with Devin Haney. One more again. Yo, Genuine, make him dance. Boom, boom, boom. So anxious. Doom, doom, doom. Fick it.
Rumours Haney's talking to him, wouldn't be surprised if he goes,
Have you spoke to him?
no, because I can't do anything with Dev. Like,
Why?
because the money's not there, Con. Like,
The money is not there.
Why?
Listen.
because the money's not there, Con. Like, where? Unless unless you need these guys, unless you're willing to lose a load of money in the process, you just can't. It's the same with Richardson. It's the same with Devin. I love Devin. We've talked, and if a fight made sense or a number made sense, but he wants crazy money.
Oh my gosh. What has Boxingego been telling you? Eddie Hearn, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. He just said he wants crazy money. If he's like, I love Devin, but it would have to make sense from a business perspective. Same thing with Richardson Hitchens. Basically, you got fighters, they're looking for that quick cash. And they want more than their, say it with me, market value.
It's the same with Richardson. It's the same with Devin. I love Devin. We've talked, and if a fight made sense or a number made sense, but he wants crazy money. And so therefore you need someone that's desperate to overpay the marketplace. A bit like
You notice he said my word, market price. You need somebody who's desperate.
to overpay the marketplace. Need someone that's desperate to overpay the marketplace. A bit like I did with him years ago.
Yeah, but that's something you've already invested that money. Is it not worth?
So he just said years ago, that's what I had to do with the HANEY'S.
To overpay the marketplace. A bit like I did with him years ago.
Yeah, but that's something you've already invested that money. Is it not worth your while to go back?
No, because we're in a position now of we're number one. So we don't need to overpay crazy numbers to bring talent. Our talent roster's brilliant. And I just, like, if I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him.
If I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. Says an actual promoter, not somebody on Twitter, not a HANEY'S channel, but an actual promoter with an actual promotional company. The proof is in the pill. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, like Bill Cosby would say, right? I would like to talk to you about the HANEY'S and the pudding. You see, you and Bill and Devin want to get overpaid like my wife. Come here, nah. Nah. Bro, the HANEY'S, they want that Cosby pudding pop. They want to get that JELLO like my show Fat Albert was on ABC. It was BBD and the BBC. And the BBC, they didn't want to give me the money to fight Rolling. I love my job. Eddie Hearn is cooking this boy with the pudding. Gah.
Our talent roster's brilliant. And I just,
It's
like, if
brilliant.
I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. I just don't know what I would do with him. Like, if I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. Just, like, if I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. I just, like, if I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. Just, like, if I sign Devin, I just don't know what I would do with him. If I sign Devin, if I sign Devin, if I sign Devin, if I sign Devin, I
If
just
I
don't
sign
know what I would
Devin.
do with him.
That's the if I sign Devin
Like,
remix.
what would I do? Devin against the winner of Jack Catcher against Shakram Girsov.
Horrible.
Okay, Devin's not interested in that. Devin just wants huge money.
You could make the Ryan Garcia fight for him though with
No, I think, look, Ryan's the Ryan Conor Ben fight was done ages ago, so that's there. Maybe Devin could fight the winner of that in time, but Devin's got to do what's right for Devin. Rumours Haney's talking to him.
Oh my gosh. Now, with Eddie Hearn dropping that heat rock on the HANEY'S and the HANEY'S content creators, you would think the HANEY'S, or at least the HANEY'S, would have an actual response for Mr. Eddie Hearn, right? Let's find out what Bill Haney had to say. Matchroom wasn't number one when we signed. Now you are. Growth like that comes from the right partnerships. We stood with you when it mattered, but loyalty was never reciprocated. Okay. A couple things wrong here. Notice how Bill Haney did not respond to the whole basis of Eddie Hearn's argument, which is money. You need money, right? He's saying that the amount you want, you aren't worth, in layman's terms, right? So we're all clear. Your team, you, the HANEY'S, want more than your market value, and you would basically have to be foolish to pay that, to make that happen. And that's not something we're willing to do, right? Why should we? He says, I mean, he's capping talking about we the number one promotion, but whatever, that's his opinion, whatever. He's like, I got a sturdy roster, so at the end of the day, we don't need a Devin Haney and we don't need to take a loss, right? That's what's being said. And can you really blame Eddie Hearn? Don't use your heart. You know, if some of y'all boxing fans was on Captain Planet, remember Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution, right? They had earth, wind, water, fire. Y'all would be the one with the heart rate. Heart, that was the weakest ring of all the Planeteers. In the HANEY'S, that's the one that they want. Oh, Devin got dropped 17 times by Ryan Garcia, but heart, he showed heart. He punched the guy at the carnival, but heart. Like, bro, I'm not giving that credit, right? That's just standard issue. You're supposed to have heart if you're a boxer. You shouldn't be boxing if you don't got no type of heart, if you a chicken or whatever. So I'm not giving you extra P's and Q's for that. So moving on. The HANEY'S Why are they not responding to this? Why are they not speaking? Because their world is crumbling down. He said, I would not be surprised. There's rumors that Devin could go to Zuffa Boxing. Devin hasn't actually confirmed this, for the record. But he's like, I wouldn't be surprised, because you would have to be desperate in order to take Devin Haney on, right? And we're talking about an actual promoter, right? When other people say stuff, it's always an excuse. Gabe Rosado, he has some choice words for the Haneys, and they're like, you're a bum, look at your resume. When people, content creators, they have these same questions. Oh, you're just a silly YouTuber or content creator. You're a TikToker. You don't know. You're a Haney hater. Well, Eddie Hearn's saying the same thing. And he's in the position where he's ran the numbers. He's been a party to Devin Haney fights, even fights where he wasn't the lead promoter. Like, remember when the Haneys brought Eddie Hearn along for the Ryan Garcia fight, which was a Golden Boy Promotions fight card. So I don't know what more you guys need to understand that Boxingego, I'm Lou Diamond Phillips. I stand and I deliver. The stuff I say, book it. And I've been telling you about Devin Haney. He a good little fighter. But the fans, his fan base, Delulu, very delusional. And y'all got Louis Farrakhan convict over here, Bill Haney, running around trying to brainwash people through and siphon through like YouTube channels or content creators to spread certain messaging that now we're seeing what it really is. Now, before I go deeper on that issue, pause, I want to bring this up because Farrah Convict, aka Bill Haney, what he does is a lot of double talk. See, I'm from Northern California. I'm from the Bay Area. You can't hustle a hustler, right? The Bay Area, home of the pimps, players, and hustlers. So you learn from a young age how to do it moving, do it mobbing. You feel me? And you just learn how to keep your head on the swivel and all that type of stuff, right? So that fast talking, if you're from a big city or like a big region or whatever, like New York or something like that, you've seen the fast talkers, right? And notice the Haney'S don't call any of this out. But your boy Ego, the Bruce Wayne of boxing, we're going to talk about all things boxing, right? So what do I mean? After Eddie Hearn has been sending shots at the Haneys for a while, right? After the Norman fight, which was Devin's last fight, is going on 5 months ago, right? We still haven't heard what Devin's next move is. Bill Haney led his locker room in a chant that said, F Eddie Hearn. Look it up. Because Eddie Hearn and Conor Ben were doing interviews talking about, oh, Devin's boring. And even though he beat Norman, I wasn't really impressed. And it was a weak fight and there was no excitement. And he's a boring fighter, blah, blah, blah. So Bill Haney led the locker room in a chant that responded like F Eddie Hearn, right? He also said this.
Eddie Hearn.
Listen, now everybody knows one thing you're going to either learn or you're going to get burned fucking with Eddie Hearn. You dig what I'm saying? I heard he had some slick shit to say about Devin. What are you talking about, Eddie?
He said you're going to learn or burn with Eddie Hearn. Then why did you do business with him? When Devin first turned pro, you did all them little fights in Mexico, padding his record. But when you actually wanted to get with a big promoter, you signed with who? Eddie Hearn. Not only did you sign with him, you were with him for several fights, right? And then he was supposed to get you Luke Campbell, and then that didn't work out because Ryan Garcia ended up fighting him, blah, blah, blah. You still stayed with him, right? And then you even brought him along, as I mentioned earlier, for the Ryan Garcia fight when they had nothing to do with Matchroom. So now you're bashing Eddie Hearn, right? After the Norman fight because he was talking bad about y'all. Let's keep going.
Post fight?
I don't know what. I don't know what he's. I mean, they said that the boy was laying on him and all kind of shit. Conor Ben, he was going to sleep or some shit like that.
Yeah. He was leaning on his shoulder like this, like he was implying he was sleeping, like it was boring.
Was it boring to you?
Okay, so anyway, he said F Eddie Hearn, and he said you gonna burn effing with Eddie Hearn, right? All these little like fake Muhammad Ali rhymes or whatever, right? After this point, let's focus on Farrah Convict right now. So after him leading the crowd in a chant that said F Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn kept dissing the Haneys, right? And after Devin Haney also put out a tweet over some Joshua Dubois tickets that he wasn't getting through Eddie Hearn. He said Eddie Hearn, Devin himself, said Eddie Hearn is the fakest person in the world, and he's a snake. Pretty much what Tank said, snake in the suit, basically. After these moments, this is what the Haneys did. So you led a chant that said F Eddie Hearn.
Hey, Eddie, we in here in the locker room. Listen. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Right? And your son said Eddie Hearn is a fake snake. And then the Haney content creators, they loved when Devin was fighting Regis Prograis, a fight nobody really asked for, right? They loved Eddie Hearn because he brought it to San Francisco. It was a match room. They hated Eddie Hearn when Joshua and Deontay Wilder were beefing and they were both champions everyone wanted to see. They're like, Eddie's a crook, da-da-da-da. But magically, the Haney'S with no moral compass, no integrity, when Wilder, because a lot of them were Wilder fans, right? So when Wilder was beefing with AJ, then Eddie Hearn was talking crazy about Wilder back then, and they hated Eddie Hearn. Then multiple years later, Wilder loses, Joshua loses, blah, blah, blah. And then Devin Haney is rocking with Eddie Hearn at said time. Now, all of a sudden, the same people that hated Eddie Hearn throughout the whole Wilder situation, they love him. But before, when he was with AJ going against Wilder, they said he's a liar, a con artist, his fighters suck, blah, blah, blah. But because Devin co-signed him, they was good with Eddie Hearn. So I want the record to show. Now, I just showed you, it let you hear that Bill Haney was like, F Eddie Hearn, burn with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie had been dissing him. After these moments where Devin said he was a fake person and all that, Bill Haney went to Stockton to Eddie Hearn's fight. Bro, this is fake energy. Who does that? I thought you just said F the man.
Doing big business. I'm here on official DHP business with Eddie. So
I'm doing big business on official what?
You call it now. I reckon you probably want.
Bro, get the Haneys up out of the spot until they act right. You are all smiles right next to Eddie Hearn after your son called him a snake and a fake, and you said F Eddie Hearn. You said, hey, I'm in Stockton on official business with Eddie Hearn. Huh?
Want to unify against Lewis Crocker.
how's Lewis Crocker doing?
And you did it all trying to get a stank Lewis Crocker fight that nobody or they mamas wanted to even watch. Bro, pack them up. Pack them up. The sheriff is back. The Bruce Wayne of boxing is back. This is the energy that the Haney'S are co-signing. So when Eddie Hearn was working with y'all was breaking bread, he was great. But all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn not working with you, he's not obligated. He didn't bid on your fight with Sandor Martin. You got mad at him. You were like, oh man, DHP, I should have bid on the fight myself. Well, you should have. Because Eddie Hearn at that point was doing interviews like, DAZN and us, we don't rock with Devin Haney. He's not signed to us. I don't have no obligation to bid on his fight that's gonna lose money. So Eddie Hearn has been telling you, Boxingego has been telling you that Eddie Hearn is basically saying that Devin Haney is a lost leader, right? And if you don't know what the word lost leader is, look it up. I'm not gonna have to spoon feed y'all everything, right? So he's basically saying that there's no money in the Devin Haney brand and business. So back to the Rolly fight. Shout out to my boy, my brother Kamal Oz. He wanted me to really get on y'all about that. Rolly out here doing interviews like, hey, we were down to fight Devin Haney. My side made an offer, PBC. We offered him 50-50 down the middle, but it would require you to believe in your brand, bet on yourself, and take a chance and a gamble. Rolly got a mouthpiece. Bill Haney, I guess, like, he's known for his speaking. Devin, not so much. But you guys could have put together a really big fight, or at least a good build-up and stuff like that. And then you would have to bet on yourself. The Haneys want guaranteed money, right? So now the rumor is they might go to Zuffa Boxing. I've already talked about that. Go to Dana White. Go to Zuffa Boxing. That just shows that you are just moving in self-interest. It's not about legacy and undisputed and the best fight, because if you sign with Zuffa, what do they have to offer you? Hitchens? Conor Benn? 2 fights that nobody really asked for. Meanwhile, the fight we have asked for is Ryan Garcia, who's with Golden Boy, who's founded and headed by Oscar De La Hoya, who doesn't like that guy. Dana White, who spoke out against TKO and just spoke at Congress saying that the Saudis own Zuffa Boxing. He's pretty much going against the side. So if the Haneys actually signed to Zuffa Boxing, then I'm of the belief that we can likely kiss the Ryan Garcia rematch bye, right? Or at least in the near future. Because if De La Hoya keeps doing clapback Thursdays, right? Dissing Dana White, going at pretty much Turkey and Saudis and TKO and Zuffa Boxing, speaking at Congress in front of the Senate and all this, right? How are these people going to work together to deliver a controversial Ryan Garcia Devin Haney rematch? In addition to the fact that there's still rumblings that Ryan Garcia could fight Conor Benn. So if that happens, unless Conor Benn wins impressively, his last performance with Regis Prograis, a guy Devin Haney already beat, wasn't impressive. And we found out that Regis was injured and banged up, right? So you see the conundrum here. If if he ends up fighting Conor Benn, there's really no reason to see Devin Haney fight. So what can Zuffa offer you? Richardson Hitchens, which would be, if people are already saying you're boring, from a matchmaking perspective, they said it to you at times. They said it to Hitchens at times. So what type of match do you think fans are going to get, or what type of anticipation will there be with two people that casual fans have discerned and like decided could be boring? So if they feel you're boring, and they feel Hitchens are boring, and you put them together, then it could be a boring match according to the fans. So I don't see that being a huge fight based on the styles. Now, I already went over how Bill Haney said F Eddie Hearn, and Dana White beefing with Golden Boy would probably hamper a fight with Ryan Garcia. I told you how Devin Haney called Eddie Hearn a snake. Guess what? Look at this. Devin Haney doing what? Arriving at a Matchroom show, dapping up Eddie Hearn, and then sitting by Eddie Hearn for it was like Navarrete and Nunes fight, bro. Navarrete versus Nunes. So this ain't no big like Tank versus Ryan Garcia, or a big like, Mayweather Pacquiao type of fight where it's like, hey, I had to let my differences with someone I don't like, I had to let them differences aside because this is just a big fight and I'll just go to it. This man, Devin Haney, went ringside for Navarrete Nunes after calling Eddie Hearn a fake person, the fakest person in boxing. This is who the HANEY'S have put their faith in. Two people who can't even keep their story consistent. Do y'all love Eddie Hearn or do you hate him? Right? Not to mention, notice when it's a YouTuber. Notice when it's Tiger Johnson. People of the melanated type, right? The HANEY'S get real aggressive, right? Remember the boy Devin Lee? He had a busted nose and all that in the gym, at the Mayweather gym or whatever in Vegas. That happened. Tiger Johnson, he gets bogarted in New York, right? But then Bob Arum say the same thing. So Bob Arum's a Jewish man from New York. Eddie Hearn is a Caucasian man from England. And they both say Devin Haney ain't making no paper. They both say Devin Haney is a loss leader, including a Mexican-American from East LA, Oscar De La Hoya, right? The Clapback Thursdays, right? Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Oscar, I do believe, De La Hoya, they all have said that Devin Haney can't sell. And his fans is capped, and the money ain't there. The amount of money that you want, most people ain't paying for you. That's why when the Sandor Martin purse bid came up, Top Rank bid like a cool $2 million or whatever, and they won the rights. And DAZN didn't even bid on it because DAZN is like, no, we're getting away from like squandering money on guaranteed losses. Like every business has risk, but you're supposed to put money up for things that you think could actually, like the Michael Jackson movie. All right, if the production cost and promotion is 200 mil, we believe when the movie comes out, people will love it. And globally, we can make that back and then some. Or Avatar or whatever movie, right? But time and time again, you hear promoters, not like Haney content creators, actual promoters who are saying that Devin Haney wants too much money versus his actual interest level from amongst boxing fans, right? And then when these promoters are saying it, how come the HANEY'S, they're not really violating Bob Arum? They're not really violating Oscar De La Hoya. They not really violate. Why they didn't run up on Oscar De La Hoya like they did Tiger Johnson, right? Remember when Bill Haney and B-Hop got into it, another black fighter, and B-Hop mushed him, and you know what I mean? It was like friction. Why you ain't do that to De La Hoya? And Bob Arum, Bob Arum's old. I don't give a how you got the energy for everybody else, you know what I mean? But then Eddie Hearn keep doing interview after interview, putting your business out and saying pretty much you're not worth it. And bravo to Eddie Hearn, because I don't think he's lying. You know why? Because let's be real. See, Bill Haney, like, he not even going, why he ain't going crazy? But let it be Gervonta Davis. He's sending people mug shots. He like, oh, Tank's this. He called Tank a monkey at the zoo in Dubai, blah, blah, blah. Why you ain't doing all that extra with the promoters that keep saying that you're wasting their money? And they'll work with you, but it got to be a reasonable pay. This is what I'm talking about. You guys have been bamboozled, led astray, and completely brainwashed by this whole propaganda machine, and is now crumbling down. Don't wait. Don't worry. I got more. Stay tuned to the end of this video. So for me, this stuff ain't really adding up, and is everything I've been saying. And again, why didn't Bill Haney combat what's being said? Are you talking about loyalty was never reciprocated? What that got to do with losing the money, which was the whole purpose of the questioning and the interview and the response from Eddie Hearn? And then y'all left Eddie Hearn to go to Top Rank to fight Kambosos and then Lomachenko. So where was the loyalty then? Bro, boxing, the people are starting to get exposed. I try to tell y'all. Y'all didn't want to believe me. But the reality is this generation is not holding down the sport in the right way. A lot of them are big-headed. And then Devin Haney recently told a YouTube channel that he hates their channel. I don't care who hates my channel. I know I'm cooking. So you're welcome to love my channel, hate my channel, be in between. It don't matter, because the people, whether you love my channel or hate my channel, they all watch me because they know everything I'm saying. They repeat and respond and got burner accounts. So if I was really just spouting out a bunch of like rubbish and like a crackhead, where on the bus, you don't even pay whatever a crackhead blurts out. You don't even pay that no mind. But they all pay attention to what I'm saying because they know it's valid, right? So for me, this is what I've been telling you. The HANEY'S, they're going to probably have to come back to reality or just keep bouncing around trying to milk the next person to overpay them. And maybe they get, I don't know. I don't know what deals they got on the table, but maybe they go to Zuffa Boxing for that reason. But then even if they went to Zuffa Boxing, it creates another conundrum with the Haney brand. DHP. What the does that's a shell company then. What does DHP even do? If you got to get with Dana White, who don't know all about boxing, what is the point of DHP? What is the point? And then again, the Haney content creators who vouch for all this stuff, they like, man, oh man, Bay Area. Oh, Bill Haney didn't move it. Oh, independent Bay Area bosses. What happened to all that independent Bay Area boss talk if you team up with Dana White? What does that tell you? I thought you was an independent, street underground mogul, right? Didn't the man say to Floyd Mayweather, I'm 50 and 0 in the streets. We move underground and like people in the streets respect me. Then why you got to team up with Dana White? Bro, they are going from Eddie Hearn to Top Rank to whatever the next move was. Back to Eddie Hearn to Golden Boy to Turkey. They getting passed around like a blunt, like a bleeze, right? To maybe Dana White. Like they're just literally bouncing around. This proves what I've been saying. Your market value is not all that. Because guess what? Gervonta Davis doing this? Okay. Bro, Tank been with the same people that he started with. Al Haymond's his guy, and it's just what it's been, right? He didn't have to go through 8 different promoters and move from network to network and platform and possibly BLK Prime. We can't forget about that, which y'all was boosting up. Oh, BLK Prime's taking over because Terrence Crawford and other people like HANEY'S were interested in that at one point. What happened to BLK Prime? Weren't y'all like promoting that and hyphy about that? So Tank ain't having to do this. Tank can post a picture of his dunks, his shoes, and go viral, right? It'll be a video with a soundtrack on loop and Tank getting his hair braided or whatever, and people repost it. Devin got to bounce around and do all this other stuff. You're not, your brand is not where you think it is. And then Bill Haney tries to brainwash the people, and then Haney, oh, youngest undisputed. Bro, Ryan barely became a champion just recently. And I'm not saying barely like he barely beat Barrios. I'm just saying it was recent. That's what I mean. And Ryan don't got to do all this. He don't got to do this to get views. He don't. Tank don't got to do this. Canelo, the guys who have been big stars, Pacquiao, Floyd, you know what I mean? They don't have to do all this extra stuff, and they don't have to do a bunch of convincing for people to understand that they're stars. Miguel Cotto, right? You just kind of know it. Prime AJ, Prime Wilder. You just know that Errol Spence or whoever is, got the torch right at that moment. The HANEY'S be like, oh, youngest undisputed, and spouting out, just like Clarissa Shields, spouting out a bunch of numbers and stats about, I did this and I did that. That's cool. But if you did all these things in youngest undisputed, then why are promoters saying that you want too much money? Why are promoters saying it's too heavy a ask for you to get paid what you want? I've never heard PBC tell Canelo or Tank Davis or people who are actually generating revenue that, hey, your asking price is way too much. And then get on, like I'm talking about on public record, they get on an interview and be like, he's crazy. That's what Eddie Hearn just did. He said, Devin want crazy money. Insane. We not paying that. If we could work on a realistic number, cool. If not, go to Zuffa. He's like, I got a stable. I don't need you. And he does. Let's be real. Not for nothing. No shade. Just, I'm only being real. What did Pac say? Don't get mad. I'm only being real. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or it's on the Pac album. It was Snoop said it on Pac's album. That's right. Anywho, live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast. Eddie Hearn said, I have a healthy stable. We good. So I don't have to move from a spot of desperation. Now, let's be real. Let's play the truth game. If you are a promoter and your business required or demanded fan support, aka money, and your financials had to look right for you to stay in business, right? Would you rather have Jerron Boots Ennis signed to your label or your brand, your promotion, or Devin Haney? Real question. Even the HANEY'S. You guys should start asking the HANEY'S on their channels that question. Would you rather Boots or Devin Haney? For me, I'm picking Boots all day. I've been a fan of Jerron Ennis, and he's versatile, right? He, in my opinion, I really think he's going to beat Xander Zayas, which will be a great statement for him. You know what I mean? And he's just too fun. You know what I mean? He's super fun to watch. And he's 28. Devin's about 27. So they're only one. So it's not like one guy's like an old veteran. They're both young. You know, they're both 27 and 28. So that's not nothing different. Because I wouldn't, if I was trying to build my promotion, I wouldn't want to fight her like Crawford, because he's a veteran. He's gonna want too much money, and he's already 38. And you see, he retired. You know what I mean? You want to build with the young talent so you could keep building. You know what I mean? So they're within a year apart from each other. And guess what? We know who Boots is fighting next. He's literally in camp. Oh, I got some extra rounds in. I'm running. I'm training. We know the promotion has already begun. Devin Haney been out the ring about 5 months. We don't know as of this recording who Devin Haney is going to fight. But this is, again, what the HANEY'S don't want to tell y'all. They don't want to keep it real. All I ever did was keep it real, and I shall reap all the benefits. I can't wait to hear the HANEY'S explain themselves out of this one. Again, you got HANEY'S content creators. They'll make it like Devin got all these plays and options to the point where they're lying. They're lying like Devin's going to fight Pacquiao. Whoever said that? I thought he was fighting Mayweather. Devin could fight Floyd. You just made that up. Devin could fight this. There was a literally the other day, I made a video about it. Somebody reported on Twitter that Shakur got an offer to fight Devin Haney, right? And Shakur came out and said it was cap. So this is the levels of desperation from the HANEY'S, where they want him to be relevant and a big superstar to the point where oh, it's Rolly's fault, it's Keyshawn Davis's fault, it's everybody else's fault. Or they'll start naming a bunch of imaginary fights that aren't happening, right? So they said Keyshawn don't want it. They claim Rolly don't want it, even though his side sent an offer and y'all didn't send no offer to him, right? You didn't want to bet on yourself there, duck, right? And then Shakur already told you it was cap, so that's not going down, right? Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia may fight each other. So who are you going to fight? Who do you want to fight? This is the problem with these Gen Z boxers. They are like overly big-headed, and I truly believe they want the highest pay for the least amount of work. For real. That is just what it is. Like, they don't want that tall order. Like, man, I got to fight Fundora. Put Devin up in there with Fundora. That would be a great fight. And then the HANEY'S are going to get mad. Oh, ego. What do you mean? Why would he fight Fundora? He at 154. Didn't he just not call out Xander Zayas at 154? So that's cherry picking. You want to fight the 23-year-old Zayas, who ain't never fought like no crazy resume, but then the guy who is at the same division, got belts, got a way better resume, and showed you his worth, versus Tim Zeus, stopped him in the rematch, stopped Keith Thurman, who had never been stopped. Pacquiao didn't even stop Keith. You better not duck me, son, right? Fought Erickson Lubin before Virgil Ortiz recently fought him. How you want to fight Xander Zayas at 54, but you can't fight Fundora? Fans will probably tune in for that, because if you struggle with Ryan Garcia's left hook, then Fundora got hooks for days. He like Drake, Drizzy, you know what I mean? He got some hooks. He got hooks for you. So for me, Devin is probably, I feel like he probably gonna have to camp out or come out with this mystery opponent. You know what I mean? That I haven't figured out. You already beat Brian Norman, and this is the problem. And then what really threw a monkey wrench in this is if the Saudis are subtly pulling back on their budgets, which I've been telling y'all about. Y'all are the ones praising Turkey. Oh man, they took over boxing. They look like they're being real selective about who's getting that bag. Tyson Fury getting that bag. Canelo finna get the bag with them. Usyk, a couple of guys, you know, Conor Benn, they throwing some money at him. But you think, and here's the funny part with the HANEY'S, who are making it sound like the HANEY'S content creators, making it sound like Devin got all these options. Peep this. Peep. Do you believe the same man, Turkey, who went on record saying he don't want no Tom and Jerry fights before Shakur's fights and before Devin was about to fight in that Fatal Fury, and then the Fatal Fury performance with Ramirez, everybody laughed at and didn't like, right? Do you think the same person has that as the highest priority, fighters like Shakur and fighters like Devin, when he literally put up almost an obstacle that would affect them before it affected other people, given their style of like pugilism, right? Like, clearly you're not talking about Better Biev if you're talking about Tom and Jerry. He don't run. He's always an entertaining fight. He knocked Ish out. So when you said that, when Turkey said that, he was directing that. You weren't talking about William Zepeda. You weren't talking about Better Biev. Usyk's always in entertaining fights. Fury's fights have been more entertaining, especially as he gotten older, right? Joshua's in entertaining fights. So really, who are you even talking about? Clearly, you're talking about the ones fans are complaining about, like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. So yeah, with the Saudis potentially not spending as much, it has left fighters to have to figure it out themselves. And I truly believe that Devin Haney is going to have to sell out in some kind of way. Either take less money that closely matches your level of interest from real fans, because the HANEY'S, they do a lot of typing, but they're not really supporting his fights, because if they were, then it don't matter what people thought of his style. His numbers would be generating enough money to the point where you wouldn't have promoters all of them, Arum, Eddie Hearn, Oscar, all saying this guy don't put butts in seats. He can't generate money. I'm losing money. Remember when Ryan and Devin Haney were like, you didn't pay us enough. And De La Hoya was like, come audit my books. That's all y'all get. We paid you everything you were worth. You thought the fight was going to be bigger, but between Ryan Garcia acting a donkey and the level of interest for that fight, it didn't do the numbers that y'all thought it was going to do, period. So we're in interesting times. I truly believe the levees are about to break and something got to give. Like, even if Devin gets a crazy bag, then he's going to have to sell out and go to Zuffa Boxing because they seem to be the ones that are willing to invest because they're trying to build up and start up. But then that go again, like I said earlier, it goes against everything you were saying about, oh man, we independent hustlers and we're free agents. So all that free agent, we independent from the Bay, throw that out the window if you sign with Dana White. And to be honest, like Eddie Hearn say, that might be your only and best option to get to the bag, because you're going to have to, again, go through a promoter that is low-key desperate or has something to prove because they're new. We Unpacked.